Dr. Philip-Neri here, performance psychologist, founder of Cohesion HQ. So I recently came across an article. According to Harvard Business School, they did a study and it claims that 40% of leaders fail within the first 18 months. So that's almost 50%. So I'm reading this and I'm thinking, well, why? Why would 40% of leaders fail within the first 18 months? Because I think when people get promoted, they get an opportunity, they're excited, right? They want to succeed. They're ready, they're ready for the learning curve, they're ready for the jump, they're ready to be a mentor, role model, a leader. So why is it that as time progresses, they end up failing? So I think we can put the answer into four buckets, and it might be a combination of all four buckets, three of the four, two of the four, just one of the four. So the first bucket is self-mastery. What are you doing as a leader to make sure you're on point? Are you even aware of how you're wired, what your natural strengths are, where your areas of improvement need to come, who you need to surround yourself by, right? It's all about you as an individual. Are you showing the behavior, the discipline, the articulation, the communication that you expect from others, or what you're showcasing and what you expect are two different things? Well, right there, that bucket is where we need to start fixing things, addressing things, plugging these holes, surrounding yourself by the right people that work well with your traits. The next one is, how do you build that team cohesion, right? What are your cohesion builders? Now, my 5 pillar framework is how to build a cohesive culture, right? That was my PhD research. That's what I spend a lot of time speaking on, doing workshops, working with high stake environments. So if you can have cohesion with a high stake environment such as law enforcement or a very elite national championship athletic program, then obviously how do we bring that into a corporate setting or your nonprofit setting or whatever your setting is, right? There's a framework to building cohesion. And now what it does is it gives you a blueprint. It gives you a blueprint, something that can be followed and measured, and you can adjust as you go along. The next one is leadership intelligence. So this is understanding your people, right? Do you really understand how your team operates, how they're wired, who's best suited, who are the good collaborators, who work well together, who's going to kind of be your rogue warrior and they're going to push you and almost seem like they're going to be skeptical. But sometimes that's a good trait, right? So just that your overall leadership intelligence of your team. And the last one is performance psychology, right? Who is building the mindset for yourself and for your team that they can operate under pressure, under stress. They can meet deadlines. If you're in a heavy metric situation, they can definitely hit the metrics. They're driven by that. They're focused by that. Or if you're in a customer service environment, that they're delivering that 5-star experience to your clients, to your customers, right? It's making sure the mindset is correct, but it's day to day, but it's also that the mindset is correct when you're under pressure. Because if you're not training this stuff, if you're not working on it, what's going to happen is everybody goes to default. Everybody goes to whatever their default mechanism is for how they cope with stress. So you can have someone in, peaceful situations, in winning situations where everything's going well, and they're very confident, they're very articulate, they're very professional. But the minute something gets chaotic, all of a sudden they're just batshit crazy, right? They're just a nightmare to deal with. They're screaming and yelling at people, and they don't even make sense, right? So now they've just created mass chaos. Everybody's unclear. There's zero clarity of what's going on. These are all components. So what I would ask yourself is, if you're struggling with creating cohesion, getting that team to gel, is take a look at these four buckets: self-mastery, building team cohesion, overall leadership intelligence, which is understanding your team, and the performance psyche of the team. And I promise you, start writing it down and putting them into the buckets. because once the problems or the awareness are put into buckets, solutions can now be created. I'm here to help. All you got to do is comment back, calibrate, and I'll reach back out. We'll set up a call. We'll talk. We'll figure out how I can help you fill these gaps. Because to me, that's an alarming statistic that 40% of leaders fail within 18 months. So my goal as a performance psychologist is obviously to decrease that 40%. But also, my God, 18 months of failing as a leader, that's keeping you up at night. That's painful, and that's not fair to you either. So we got to fix this from many different fronts. Hope you enjoyed this video. Dr. Philip-Neri, performance psychologist, founder of Cohesion HQ.